Hello, everyone. So, how is everyone doing tonight? And welcome back to another episode of your Shinier Future. Thank you for everyone who's coming to pop in tonight. And I'm thankful for all of y'all who's been here since the beginning. But I saw this TikTok saying, "Good morning, New Yorkers." So, I might as well make a little concept of my own. Why don't we say good afternoon, New Orleans? But who knows if that's going to get out there in the world. But today we're going to be talking about the events of 2025. 2025 was a crazy or big year for all of us, depending on who you are. But 2025 could be an amazing year for you, a dreading year for you, or just another year to live in. But I got a couple of topics which we can talk about for 2025. For me, 2025 was like another year to live in. None too big, none too bad. But K pop Demon Hunters came out and they became one of the most biggest things on like the internet with the songs Golden, um, the Saja Boys. Honestly, before I even watched it, I was over here kind of iffy about it. I didn't know if the movie was going to be good in any way. I was like, it's not really my type of movie I would watch. But when I took the chance to sit down and watch it with my little sister, it was a great movie in my opinion. Like my favorite character gotta be Zoe. Favorite song, of course, gotta be like Golden or uh what what's the song from the ending? Hmm. What song would that be? Hold on, guys. I'll pop it up in 1 second. Ooh. Hmm. I liked Your Idol. Your Idol was a very good song in my opinion. And then What It Sounds Like, also amazing song. But there was lots of good songs in K-pop Demon Hunters, and I was not expecting it to be a good movie. The character development in it, absolutely wonderful. I like Jinhoo, who was like a villain who wanted to just basically all for himself, just trying to get rid of the voices in his head. But he uh he met new people, which is the Cape Huntrix, and he became a good person again and wanted to help them. Found it really cool. Loved the movie. Not my favorite movie to be honest, but like it's a good movie. Another thing which happened in 2025 was the youngest darts champion He's only 17 years old, and his name is Luke Littler. If I said his last name wrong, I'm sorry. But he won the PDC World Championship, which is awesome. Like, 17-year-old. I know my uncle plays darts like almost every weekend, sometimes during the weekdays, but he's the best person who I know who plays darts. But a 17-year-old, ooh, damn, that's that's pretty wild. Like, wow. I'm not even good at darts myself. I'm pretty terrible at it. But like, congrats for him. A world champion, a world champ at darts at 17. Congratulations to him. But another back to, like, not back to, I meant with the next thing, I'm sorry. Next thing that happened up in 2025 was AIs, like, basically taking the stage of, like, some movies. For example, AI obviously enhanced over past couple years now. They even made a version of The Wizard of Oz, and it that played during at the Sphere in Vegas, which is like, wow. AI is getting so out there as going it's being on the Sphere in Las Vegas. That's absolutely wild, honestly. Like, see me doing all this hard work over here and my stuff doesn't pop up on anything major. Yeah, like me and all my people be saying, it takes time. It's just taking time to climb up the ladder of display. But another cool thing which happened for young audiences were is a 10-year-old girl who is a young chess master. She is the youngest ever the woman to earn the woman international master title at 10 years old. I'm good at chess, but like, I was terrible at I was terrible at chess when I was 10. I was good at checkers, all right? Very good at checkers. But I was I was decent at chess, but imagine this little girl being better in chess when she turns 18 or in her 20s. She would be the most smartest chess player out there in the world. But another thing about what happened up in 2025 is the Colossal Did anyone see that Colossal Squid film? Because honestly, um, this was like, that was the first time anyone captured a colossal squid on film in its national habitat. I honestly don't know if that's a good cause to take something which we never caught before in its natural habitat, because, like, what if it damages the habitat? That could absolutely end horribly. But let me uh let me go grab me a drink and I will be right back. Hold on. I was trying to put some music on for y'all so I can like be here in a second. Hold on. It's just gonna take a good couple seconds. 10 more seconds for y'all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, I'm back. But where were we? We were at the colossal squids. Well, honestly, why are we taking something out of its habitat when we don't even know what would happen when we take it out of it? Me personally, it could be a good thing. It could not. We just gotta wait and see. Honestly, it's cool. If anyone's seen what the colossal squid looks like, it's just basically a squid. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nothing too major, but like it's still cool. I don't know what to say more about it. It's still a pretty cool squid. Like first time, which is absolutely cool, but it could be a bad thing that we're taking it out of its habitat. But the next major thing that happened in 2025, which I don't know if you heard about, is the clean energy milestone, where it's basically like renewable energy which we can have. It surpassed coal now. Like uh we don't basically need to use coal to produce energy anymore. We got this new clean energy milestone. And it's basically like the most largest source of electricity in our world right now. But that's pretty, like, lots of people don't want to listen to that, but it's still pretty cool. Like, it surpassed one of our most lasting energy source, which is coal, and now is like the most largest world source now for electricity. Hey, that's going to be very useful for us in the future, which I'm going to be very happy about because in the future we're going to be using lots of electricity. So sorry. I'm choking on my milk. Pause. But next major thing up in 2025 was the first humanoid robot games. It was up in Bing Ying Beijing Beijing, wherever that is, but if it was featuring over 500 androids. First ever world humanoid robot games where 500 androids are like competing in games. But that's pretty cool. AI robots are getting out there. Hopefully, they don't surpass us in life and basically take over the world. That would be literally terrifying for me because I I wouldn't say I trust my robots in any way, but like I find them so helpful. I don't want them to like abandon me or like betray me. That would be horrible. I love my little androids and AIs helping me out with things which I sometimes don't know. But I do remember our other guest, which is my cousin from the first podcast, say AI kills polar bears. I don't know how that's possible. Honestly, I think it's like more of a hee ha ha type of situation where she was just making a joke. I don't really think AI is killing polar bears, because how would they? How would AI be killing the polar bears? It's stupid. But another thing that happened during 2025 is the historic sporting wins where England Lionesses won a game up in the football Euros, and then up in England Red Roses won in the Rugby World Cup. It was a pretty huge year for women's sports. Honestly, congratulations for all the women out there who does a very hard work. We love women who do very hard work. Congratulations for all the women out there who does put in the hard work. We also love women in STEM. I would never complain about that. But we also got Saturn's rings are also like disappearing. That happened back in March of 2025. I know we just jumped from women's sports to stuff what happened up in space in 2025. So let me restart that. So fast forward, yeah, huge year for women up in humans, not humans, women's sports back in 2025. Congratulations, good job for women. Now we're going to go to stuff that happened up in 2025 for space. So, like I said, Saturn's rings are disappearing during March of 2025 due to the optical illusion. Saturn rings are will appear edged on from Earth, making them temporarily vanish from view to our visible eyes, not telescopes, but to the visible eye, not strong telescopes. The next thing that happened up in space for 2025 would be uh oh, oh, hold on. Wow. Is hmm oh, the super uh kilonova search. Yes, the scientists back in 2025 were basically like analyzing a potential super kilonova, which is basically a massive double cosmic explosion that could really redefine our understanding of stellar death, because we know a supernova, which is basically a star exploding, where it lived its final moments of life, where it blows up into a big radioactive heat explosion, which if our sun does a supernova right now, it would basically blow up most of the planets which is close by. Probably Neptune and Uranus would probably go out there and roam the dark and empty universe, basically becoming rogue planets. And that will be basically our last time seeing them, because we would also be dead by the supernova explosion, because we are super close to the sun. Like Saturn or anything closer will probably be taking a massive hit from the supernova. But this super kilonova is double the explosion, way more powerful, can probably destroy the whole solar system, which it has, like multiple planets. But Another thing that happened during 2025 was the Six Planet Parade, which happened during January through February of 2025, where Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, and even Saturn made a form, like a visible form of a giant arc in the night sky, which you could see with a telescope. You could see, like, I wouldn't say you could see it with your bare eyes, but if you had a telescope, you could definitely see these planets align. But we also got the Juno's final act, which was basically NASA's Juno's spacecraft, which did end nearly like a decade long mission, which dramatically crashed into Jupiter. So that was the last moments of Juno's final act, and we just discovered more about the planets around us, like Mars, Jupiter, possibly a little bit more of Saturn on how it looks, but that's basically the end of Juno's. Another thing is the private moon landing and stations. It was it was basically just multiple commercial missions where it was including uh like inch man the IM-3 and the Griffin mission one, which is about like it was aiming to land on the moon while its first private spacecraft, uh, Harvard 1, is like was scheduled for landing. So that's pretty cool. Like we had two missions for the moon during 2025 about just landing on the moon, setting up a space station, getting it ready for something bigger, which is happening in like couple weeks. Like I said up on my video about space, they're about to send the first woman and color of choice on a spaceship, landing them on space, and like getting a like basically putting a hotel or basically a building in on the moon where these billionaires or rich people can afford and go to the moon and spend 4 days or 6 days there. It was between 4 or 6, but that's pretty cool. Honestly, I would love to visit the moon. Just sit there, enjoy looking at Earth. Like it would be so cool to look down on Earth and be like, "Wow, that's where I used to live." And this is where our technology got us now on the moon. There was pretty cool other stuff which happened during 2025 too. Did anyone hear about the discovery of life on Mars? Honestly, that was like the biggest news I heard during 2025, which I got really excited about. Like life on Mars. I kind of knew, or I could have suspected uh life on Mars, but was it like as advanced as us? Was it anything close to how we are? Because lots of people, honestly, some of these things which I'm about to say, I didn't believe, but I still don't believe them because how funny it sounds. So, does anyone remember back years ago that people were saying people been hold on, my people, hold on. All right, we're back. Ugh. Had to go check up on someone real quick. But back to what I was saying, we had what were we talking about? We were talking about the moon landings. All right. Oh wait, no. We were talking about Mars. Don't worry, guys. I remember. But with Mars, that's absolutely amazing. I've always wondered what could be out there. Like, obviously, we're not the first, like, smart creatures out here in the universe. There's possibly more advanced civilization out there. And people are wondering why they haven't discovered us yet. It's probably because there's such a big universe out there where we're this so tiny planet drifting in this massive universe. Remember, we're in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is already a ginormous area. We gotta remember there's so much bigger area than the Milky Way. There's a much bigger galaxy out there. So they are literally light years away. Meaning they are literally thousands and thousands of years away. 1 light year away is meaning the light which we see from a year ago happened a year ago. Like for example, if a supernova happened 1 light year away, when we see it, that happened a year ago. Meaning that star isn't there anymore. It's been gone for a whole year. But I find that pretty interesting. But I want to get back to people going on the moon and spending like 4 or 6 days there. It's so like they're so lucky. Rich people are so lucky to going to be up there soon. But I really want to go up there eventually. Hopefully, uh, up in 2050 or 20. I don't know 45 when uh stuff like this, like putting space or how do you call it? More moon landings. Like moon landings are becoming more common in the world where people can actually afford it, but I doubt it. People been trying to go to the moon. It's like this is and the people who are going to the moon soon in a couple weeks, these are people I mean, remember, we haven't been to the moon over in 50 years. Meaning we haven't been up there in 50 years. The last time we did it was back in 1970s. A good bit away. So hopefully eventually I'll get to the moon. But who knows? Everything's possible in life. But the next thing I would love to talk about, what happened up in 2025, is the Frame 2 mission, where it's basically the first crewed space flight um, to fly over the Earth poles that took place using a SpaceX Crew Dragon, which is pretty cool. The ship sounds very cool. The SpaceX Crew Dragon. Let me tell you something. I'm very interested in dragons and sharks. Don't get me started how obsessed I am with them. If there's something called dragon or shark, put me in. I'm up all for it. Like, that's amazing. Like, I wonder what the ship even looks like. But let me bring you in some details about uh we're gonna head off a little bit on 2025 real quick. We're gonna be talking about sharks for a little bit. Honestly, my most favorite shark is the great white shark, the big boys, the chunky boys. Man, those are cool and cute as hell. I would love to own one when I turn 25. I'm going to make it my life mission to get a shark. Like, I would love to call it Shockwave. Woo! And have it like, if anyone watched Despicable Me 1 with Vector having the shark under his floor, which is like basically an aquarium under his floor. That's going to be me. Well, up when I turn 25, that is me. I would absolutely love to have a pet shark called Shockwave. That would be so cool. But the next big thing that happened during 2025 was basically the ocean seen us, like basically discovered 900 plus new species, which is absolutely amazing. I would love to know every and each and every new species they found. Hopefully, they found a new shark. That would be awesome because we already got the hammerhead shark, we got the great white shark, we got the sharks, which are very like under the water, basically at the bottom of the sea. Always forget them sharks' names, but absolutely amazing. And then also, the whale population also recovered, which is absolutely amazing because if anyone didn't know, the whale population was basically like not looking good at all. People were hunting them, sharks and other animals were killing them. So, hey, the population recovered and now they're back on track and the population's looking good as ever. It could be better, but hey, this is a good start to where it's heading. But um another big thing which I already talked about up in the space video was Three Eye Atlas, where people basically thought it was this alien visitor from a different solar system, which basically it is a visitor from another solar system, but it's not aliens. It's just a comet where they're basically a big meteor passing through our solar system as big as Manhattan. But hey, luckily it didn't hit us. We look like we're perfectly fine. Nothing terribly went wrong when it was coming this way. So yeah, I think when we first heard about Three Eye Atlas was during January of 2025, and it arrived during November of 2025, which is not too long ago. It was 4 months ago, almost. It's more about like 3 to 4-ish months ago, which is pretty cool. Pretty I'm pretty happy that we kind of debunked it was aliens, because if it was aliens, what would be how would we handle that? They would basically be able to like do whatever they want, because people were saying, "Oh, the aliens are absorbing the sun's energy to basically plan an attack on us. We need to do something to defend our country or planet." How? How? How would we be able to defend our planet from something that can absorb the energy from the sun? If that was true, we would all be dead, basically. Because if they can absorb the sun energy, they could basically shoot that sun energy right at us, and we would be all dead. That sun energy would basically blow our planet up, basically destroy our atmosphere. So that would that would be one way to go out for everyone. Um Another thing that people were saying about Three Eye Atlas was like drones were getting like popped out of the quote unquote mothership from behind the sun and going around to our earth, and it was going to like basically monitor us for a good minute before attacking, which I'm like, if this was possible, wouldn't they just like end us right there and then? And guess what? When Three Eye Atlas was passing us, leaving our solar system, we took a good look at it, and guess what? It was a meteor. Basically, a comet floating through space, and it was going the same direction where the scientists were saying it was going to be at. So, I don't know why people were saying it was going to be a big old mothership or anything, but people people sometimes love to use their imagination to have an interesting life, which I'm not like complaining that they do. I love listening to what they have to think about it. That's like it's way better than saying, "Oh, it's a meteor," but saying it might be something else. Hey, put a little imagination into it. There's nothing too wrong with it, unless if you're trying to force people to believe it. You could say, "Hey, I think it could be a big mothership." And then someone's like, "Oh, I don't believe it could be a mothership." Don't gotta be too hostile. Don't have to say it's the real truth. It's just your imagination, what you honestly think, and you move on from life. But I would say a lot more about what happened up in 2025, which I've heard about, but they're kind of like super sad moments, and I don't think we need those sad moments in our lives right now, because we need to look towards the most, like, to our shinier future. We don't need to look back to those sad moments. We just need to cherish the people who was here at the time, breathe every breath for them, honor them through every breath we take so we can honor them throughout life, and they will be proud of us in the future. They'll be happy to look down at us or think of us and be like, wow, these people truly honored us and made their future better for everyone else like they wanted us for. Like, oh, like what happened to Charlie Kirk is absolutely awful to what happened to him. If y'all think he's a terrible person, hey, we all have our different opinions. Honestly, I didn't know much about the dude. I heard clips here and there about him. Like, I know to people he was very inspirational. Some people hated him. Me, I don't personally have an opinion about him, but I would still think he's a great dude because he was just putting his opinions out there. Because we all have different opinions, but what happened to him, it's not deserved for anyone. He had a family, he had a wife and kids. We all gotta remember his daughter was there when she heard the loud noise. Because I'm not trying to get into too much detail, but if you know what I mean by the loud noise, his daughter was basically running up to him while he was basically dying. So that's a super sad moment. No one should ever go through that. So, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Hopefully, his daughter, his kids, his wife is all doing fine. But I've heard his wife has been doing some messed up things, so I don't really know what's going on right there, but it's absolutely wild. What's another thing that I heard that happened up in 2025? Nothing too sad, nothing too gruesome. Well, I would think that is like pretty much it that I would know from what happened up in 2025. From like the population, what happened up in space, what happened in the ocean. Let's get up into some games that came out during 2025. Has anyone played the Deadpool VR game? I played that recently and it's an amazing game where basically you got your katanas, you got your pistols, you got like a grappler gun later into the game. I find it super fun. Uh, what other games that came? That Donkey Kong game. I have not played Donkey Kong in a good minute. The last time I played Donkey Kong was, I think, was like Ice Island. I don't know. I know it was something to do with ice. Hold on. Not like, not the officers. I meant like the snow biome, okay? The snow island. That's a better name. Well, that's the last time I played Donkey Kong. With the new Donkey Kong that came out last year, I saw a couple of clips about it. It looks really fun, and I should probably get it soon because it looks like a very hype game to play. I really do need it. Another game that was supposed to come out in 2025 was GTA 6, which is like, where you at? We waited so long for you. We waited basically, 13 or more years because I've been playing GTA 5 since I was like 9 years old. So, or even 10, 9 or 10, because I've heard GTA 6 was supposed to come out in 2023, and then it moved up to 2024, and then it got moved up to 2025. And then apparently it's supposed to come out during this year, 2026. We had a trailer of GTA 5 about a year ago. Possibly like a year or a little bit more. But I know it's not 2 years yet. 2 years isn't there yet. Um, Another thing that came out during 2025 was the Superman movie. The Superman movie was honestly a great movie. I watched it. Very good scenes, very beautiful, basically like what would I say? Moments. I forget the word where you basically look at the screen, there's no noise. Basically just like a clip which you look at, and it's like it's a beautiful scene. I loved crypto. I loved basically I loved how Lex Luthor was like the number one hater of Superman. They did a really good job at showing Lex Luthor's hate towards Superman. Love it how they got it from the comic books. But we also got Captain America Brave New Order, which I was like super stingy about it until I watched it. It was a pretty good movie. It was a really good movie. They did show off Red Hulk really good. I really want to see more of Red Hulk, but I feel like we're not. The leader, I think his name was the one who was basically masterminding everything. He was super cool. Basically, the end credits, he's saying, are you ready to protect your reality from the other heroes? Which is like, that dude's so smart that he predicted what's going to happen up in Doomsday. But another movie that came out during the time was Thunderbolts, which I know I talked about Thunderbolts up in my movies episode, but I only basically talked about the end credits. I didn't talk about what happened up in the movie. It was basically Yelena, which is Black Widow's sister. We got uh what's his name? Not not Sam Wilson. Basically US agent, I'ma call him. John Walker. That's his name. John Walker. He was basically the Captain America of the Thunderbolts, where he's like uh, a rogue Captain America. I loved his character development up in it. He's made a very good appearance better character development in the movie. We also had a Ghost, which last time we saw her was from Ant-Man and the Wasp. We had uh hmm we had Taskmaster, but spoilers, what I'm about to say, she got killed by not Ghost. She got killed by uh John Walker. I believe so. But she died early in the movie. Then we had Red Guardian, which is played by the same actor of Hopper, which is super cool. I find that really funny. And then they're basically like all teaming up together to like stop this like corrupted government who's trying to get them killed. But that government figured out that there was a superhuman in the same room as them, which his name is Bob, aka Sentry, aka the Void. It basically ends with the movie of the Thunderbolts going to go find and rescue Bob, but the government basically manipulated him to believe that they're not his friends, that they don't care about them, and that they're bad people, basically criminals. But the government turned on him, tried to kill him, but his body didn't die on him. His consciousness, like, basically awoken something else, aka known as the Void, and the Void started trying to kill everyone, or not kill everyone, basically send them all to the Void and live their most saddest moment. But basically, they saved him, making him feel cared for. It's basically a mental awareness movie where people who have mental problems are like seen, that they know that they're not alone and people out there will care about them, even whoever you think those people are or act, they might still care for you. It's a wonderful movie. My most favorite character from the movie was Sentry, which is Bob. Another person who made it up in that movie was Bucky, which is super cool. Last time we saw Bucky was basically in the Captain America movie, which is like 5 to 6 months apart. But before we saw Bucky in the Captain America movie, he was up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I liked how he had like a cameo up in Captain America Brave New Order, but he made a major appearance because he was like one of the most leading characters in Thunderbolts. So it's Bucky and the Sentry, which is my favorite characters from Thunderbolts. The last thing which I'm gonna be talking about up in 2025 is Fantastic Four, which I find the Fantastic Four movie a little. I I would love to say I find it a little bit more enjoyable to watch, but but hmm, they're kind of equal in my case because Thunderbolts had very good qualities, like very specific things I like, and then Fantastic Four has things I also like. For example, Sentry is a more understandable character, while Johnny is more, or Johnny Storm, which is the Human Torch is more of my personality, and I love seeing how Joseph Quinn plays Johnny. If you didn't know, the same actor of Eddie Munson played in Fantastic Four, which I find that so cool because back in 2023, I saw Joseph Quinn in person because I went to this thing called uh what is it called? Fan Expo, where basically the actors of Chrissy, the actors of Henry Creel when he was a young child, and then Eddie Munson, which I got the autograph from Eddie Munson or Joseph Quinn, and I got the autograph from him too. And then 2 years later, he's up in Fantastic Four, one of my favorite characters, the Human Torch. Absolutely amazing. But let me tell you what happened up in the movie. We had basically the Fantastic Four is basically the normal, like, basically Avengers, but in their own world, where they saved countless people multiple times, and then eventually Susan Storm gets pregnant because of Reed Richards, which is Mr. Fantastic. Sue Storm is Invisigirl or Invisible Woman, but she basically gets pregnant with Franklin Richards, which in the comics he's one of the most powerful beings out there in the whole universe. He was able to create a universe at 14 years old or even younger. I might be wrong. He might have been like way younger. I think it's like 14 he was able to create it. And then after Franklin Richards was basically in Susan's stomach, the Silver Surfer came down to their planet saying Galactus is coming to their planet and going to devour their planet. But when the Fantastic Four went to visit Galactus, he said he wanted Susan's baby, which is Franklin Richards. So they basically had to head back to Earth, plan a mission to transport the Earth somewhere else, which that ultimately fails because of the Silver Surfer, who basically destroys their teleporting devices. So they use the last teleporting device, which didn't get destroyed, to basically teleport Galactus away, which Silver Surfer sacrificed herself to defeat Galactus and send him somewhere else. And then the end credit shows uh, Doctor Doom, which is super cool to see because we haven't seen Doctor Doom up in this universe yet because this is Tony Stark, but this is Doctor Doom. So I can't wait for Doomsday. That's coming out in 2026, which is very awesome. But that's pretty much it, which I experienced and heard of in 2025. So thank you for anyone who came in or is going to watch this later on in the next few days. So I appreciate all of y'all coming to watch. or soon to watch. And sorry about that. But thank all of y'all. I appreciate y'all's support. And the next episode will be Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. and it will be about Marvel and upcoming Marvel projects, which is coming soon, which I think I talked about some of them. I didn't get into depth about it in my show episode or movie episode. But yeah, next Wednesday, or not next Wednesday, this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. we'll be talking about Marvel and upcoming Marvel projects which they have in store. And thank you for everyone who came and watched this episode. And everyone, have a great night and be safe out there.